Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Heartland Championship Wrestling. My name is Dave Little, and we are coming to you live from the Dave Cave with action from Patriot Championship Wrestling, brought to you by the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. And we want to say hello to Neil Lau, first in line in the chat room here tonight, as we have a big show, 4 spectacular matches, including a main event number 1 contenders match for the NWA World Tag Team Championship, as former NWA World Champions Tony GAREA and Larry ZBYSZKO will take on Jay and Mark Briscoe. In your main event, the winners will get a shot at the gold next week at our Heartland YouTube production event, the Hype Show next weekend. We'll see the winner of tonight's main event take on the Midnight Express for the NWA World Tag Team Championship. Good evening to you, Jay Randis, and welcome to the Dave Cave for tonight's broadcast. Before we went live, we did have a series of preliminary matches, starting off with the Great Malenko, accompanied by Gary Hart picking up a win over Farmer Burns with the Russian sickle. It did take help from Gary Hart for Boris Malenko, the Great Malenko, to secure that victory. Then we saw the Destroyer take down Stan Stasiak with the bombs away. The team of Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton, the Fantastics, got a win over Don Curtis and Mark Lewin when Rogers pinned Lewin with the Fantastic Flip. And just before we came to air, it was the debut of the brand new Filsinger Games Tragos Thez Hall of Fame card of Bruno Sammartino, as Bruno took on Stanislaus ZBYSZKO, and it was Bruno getting the victory with a jumping kick. And that brings us to tonight's action here in the Dave Cave, as we're coming to you from the Boston Garden. Big weekend for sports gaming, as the Hall of Fame event in Canton, Ohio is taking place, with a lot of football players. Dave Gardner up there, James Cast, Michael Canistrari, and dignitaries left and right have descended upon Canton. Couldn't quite pull that one off myself, just because we are so recently back from Scotland, and I didn't really have the time or the energy or the bandwidth to add another trip to the itinerary that soon. So the Hall of Fame weekend looks like it is a good time being had by all, but a good time will be had by everybody here in the Dave Cave and on the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network tonight in Boston. Ladies and gentlemen, your following contest is scheduled for one fall. And this is a number 1 contenders match for the Patriot Heavyweight Championship. Introducing first, accompanied to the ring by James J. Dillon. He stands at 6'4" and weighs 255 pounds, from Seattle, Washington. This is Johnny Valentine, as we say hello to Salvador America in the chat room. And his opponent, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, standing at 6'2", weighing 237 pounds, this is Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle and Johnny Valentine to square off for the number 1 contenders position for the Patriot Heavyweight Championship. Of course, that title is currently held by Rick Rude. And it will be Rick Rude headed to the pay-per-view next weekend to defend his title against superstar Billy Graham in a big rematch, as those two have traded the title back and forth a couple of times, and it will be best 2 out of 3 falls next weekend at our hype event entitled Nowhere Fast. So the winner of this match will be around to take on whoever emerges victorious next weekend. Either Rick Rude or superstar Billy Graham will be defending the Patriot Heavyweight Championship in September against the winner of this match. Mark Ferguson joins us here in the Dave Cave. Welcome to you, my friend. All right, here we go. Kurt Angle and Johnny Valentine under the watchful eye of James J. Dillon at ringside, and the opening initiative role is won by Valentine. And they come together in the center of the ring. Valentine going for a back suplex, up, over, and down to the canvas hard. Goes Kurt Angle off the opening lockup, and already Angle is going to take a powder out of the ring and down to the arena floor. But oh, on a roll of 12, that's a big move by Johnny Valentine, a diving clothesline off the ring apron, executed by Johnny Valentine onto Kurt Angle. We may see a count out here on Snake Eyes. We will not. But already Kurt Angle suffering the first point of fatigue of this match after the near countout by Johnny Valentine on that diving clothesline off the ring apron. Valentine remains in control, and he is going now with the Atomic Skull Crusher. This is a +1 finisher. The pin roll here 4 or lower. And on a roll of Snake Eyes, he got him just like that. Johnny Valentine with the win over Kurt Angle. And Johnny Valentine, your new #1 contender for the Patriot Heavyweight Championship. James J. Dillon at ringside, very proud of his man for putting aside Kurt Angle that quickly in surprisingly easy fashion. It was just a back suplex and an Atomic Skull Crusher after the diving clothesline off the ring apron that ended the night very quickly for one Kurt Angle. Angle probably wants to get out of Boston and get down to the Football Hall of Fame to catch up with the festivities of the sports gaming community in Canton, Ohio. Yeah, Johnny Valentine not getting paid by the hour for that victory. Blink and you missed it, says Salvador America. All right, and that brings us to our next matchup. The following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 45-minute time limit. Disqualification rules will be in effect. Introducing first team #1, coming to the ring accompanied by James J. Dillon. Standing at 6 foot tall, weighing 249 pounds from the great state of Minnesota, this is Arn Anderson. And his tag team partner coming from San Antonio, Texas. Standing at 5'11", weighing 228 pounds, this is Tully Blanchard. So Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, that very familiar tag team, accompanied by James J. Dillon for a key singles match in the tag team ranks, as both these teams look to move up the ranks. Their opponents, at a total combined weight of 450 pounds, from Memphis, Tennessee, it is Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express. And boy, how many times did those teams square off in the 80s in the annals of wrestling history? And here tonight in Boston, that rivalry will be rekindled. And we'll see who comes out on top. So to start things off, it will be Ricky Morton against Arn Anderson. Familiar foes indeed here in Boston. And it is Arn Anderson who takes the opening initiative role. And he comes right out with a hammerlock. That's an agility move, so Ricky Morton is going to dodge that and come back with a drop kick. Ricky Morton taking Arn Anderson off balance with a drop kick. Morton quickly following up with a leg drop. And Anderson is hurt, slowly getting to his feet. And here is another drop kick from Ricky Morton. He is started out a house of fire. Into the ring comes Robert Gibson for a double team attempt. And oh, on a roll of 4, it is a devastating double team move. A double drop kick from Ricky and Robert puts a point of fatigue onto Arn Anderson. Just that quickly, the fast break offense of the Rock and Roll Express has taken control. Here's Robert now going to attempt a flying head scissors. He'll need a roll of 7 or lower to complete that. And oh, on a roll of 8, Arn Anderson was wise to that move, had that move well scouted. And it is Anderson instead who comes back with a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Robert Gibson. And on a roll of 6, it is Gibson who grabs the arm of Double A and sends Double A into the turnbuckle. And on a roll of 11, both men come off the turnbuckle with big specialty moves. And both wrestlers go down. The wrestler with the better turnbuckle rating recovers first. That is Arn Anderson. So Anderson takes control on level 3 offense. And Anderson is going to come back with a forearm shot to the midsection. And he is going to tag in his partner, Tully Blanchard. Blanchard now into the match for the first time. And Blanchard with a series of stomps into the corner. Doing some damage to Gibson in the corner. And Gibson is hurt. Blanchard stays on him. Tries another drop kick. And that's another agility move. Once again, the quickness of the rock and rolls is the deciding factor. Tully Blanchard misses the drop kick, and quickly Robert Gibson wraps up Blanchard into a spinning toe hold. Spinning toe hold applied. Blanchard gets to the ropes, and now Gibson with a leg puller and a punch. That's a double team move, and that brings Robert out of the ring, and Ricky Morton now the legal man in the ring. Ricky coming in with a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Tully. And on a roll of 6, that is Tully lifting a knee to the head of Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton now is stunned and Tully back in control. What's he going to do? He's going to go with a whip to the turnbuckle. Morton comes off the turnbuckle, and it is Morton lifting a knee to the head of Tully Blanchard. These two men exchanging knees to the head. Morton now back in control with a leg drop onto the fallen Tully Blanchard. Morton following that up. He's going to attempt an atomic drop on a roll of 7 or lower. And on a roll of 8, once again, the Horseman had that well scouted. And it is Blanchard who rolls out of the way of that attempted leg drop. And it is Blanchard who comes back with a double sledgehammer off of the top rope. Ricky going to try and make the defensive tag, unable to get there. Tully Blanchard now in control, and he is going to go with the slingshot suplex. That is a pinning move. The pin roll here 4 or lower. And on a roll of 8, Ricky able to kick out from the slingshot suplex. But a big move there by Tully Blanchard to shift the momentum in favor of James J. Dillon Enterprises. Blanchard now back in control. And he's going to go with a grinding chin lock. Morton now makes the tag to Robert Gibson. Gibson in the ring moving out against Tully Blanchard. And Gibson comes into the ring with a double back body drop that takes Blanchard up, over, and down to the mat. Gibson now in control. Gibson coming back with a whip to the turnbuckle. He thought better of that. Blanchard with that A rating off the turnbuckle, and instead it is going to be the rock and rolls again with another double team back body drop as Ricky comes back into the ring as the legal man. And now Ricky goes with the whip to the turnbuckle. That's not a choice maneuver, so Blanchard goes into the turnbuckle, and on a roll of 6, it is a knee to the head delivered by Tully Blanchard. Once again, Blanchard has the momentum, and once again, Blanchard going with a whip to the turnbuckle, and once again, it is Morton who wins that exchange, coming off the turnbuckle and nailing Tully Blanchard with a skull-splitting running lariat, and Blanchard goes down hard. Blanchard is now going to roll out of the ring and down to the arena floor. And on a roll of 11, that is Ricky Morton coming out of the ring and hitting a foreign object. How about that? A boot. James J. Dillon took his shoe off, and Ricky Morton grabbed the shoe from James J. Dillon and used it to nail Tully Blanchard upside the head. Will we see a disqualification here? We will not. And it is Ricky now in control back in the ring. And Ricky going for a punch coming off the top rope. He's going to go for the cover. The pin roll here is a 3. And on a roll of 10, Tully kicks out. Here comes Robert into the ring for some double team action. And on a roll of 8, it is an awesome double neck breaker delivered by the Rock and Roll Express. And now Robert has a chance to do some more damage on Tully. Robert going to go for a big enziguri. And again, Tully takes that blow to the side of the head and rolls out of the ring and down to the arena floor as Bear 805 joins us here. Blanchard out of the ring, and on a roll of 9, it is Gibson who wins the brawl on the arena floor and slams the head of Tully Blanchard into the ring apron. So Gibson now remains in control, and he's going to go now for a flying head scissors. This is a choice C maneuver, so he will need a roll of 7 or lower to connect on that. And on a roll of 3, he connects on the enziguri, and Tully Blanchard is stunned. Gibson remains in control. Gibson with a big back elbow smash, keeping Tully Blanchard off balance. Gibson follows that up with another back elbow smash. Now here's a tag to Ricky for another double team attempt, and on a roll of 9, it is a deadly elbow smash delivered by Ricky Morton, who remains in the ring and in control against Tully. Now a big drop kick by Morton, keeping Tully off balance, but Tully will not go down. Here comes an attempt at an atomic drop on a roll of 7 or lower, and on a roll of 6, Morton hits the atomic drop, and Blanchard goes down and stays down. Morton now with a chance at a big move, and he is not going to let Tully escape the ring, and instead it is going to be another attempt at an atomic drop here. This time it is blocked by Tully Blanchard. Tully Black in control, and Tully just with a rope burn to Ricky Morton, eyes on the top rope. Morton unable to make the tag, as Tully remains in control with a sledge off of the top rope once again. Morton is down, slow to get to his feet. Blanchard's on him. Whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Morton. And on a roll of 3, it is Morton who dodges out of the way as Tully Blanchard charges into the corner. Tully Blanchard out of the ring and down to the arena floor, but he likes it that way. And on a roll of 7, it is Blanchard who will win the brawl on the arena floor and slam Ricky Morton onto the announcer's table. Back and forth we go. The classic rivalry between Anderson and Blanchard, collectively known as James J. Dillon Enterprises against the Rock and Roll Express. Blanchard now in the ring and in control with that grinding chin lock. Morton unable to make the tag as Blanchard continues to work on Morton with another whip to the turnbuckle. Boy, Morton is a turnbuckle B, but he has won every whip to the turnbuckle. And this time it's no different as Morton lifts a knee to the head of Blanchard, and Morton takes control once again. And now it's Morton with a whip to the turnbuckle. Blanchard coming off the turnbuckle, knee to the head of Morton. That puts Blanchard back in control. Finally, Tully's going to tag in Arn Anderson, the fresh man on the outside of the ring. Anderson now coming in with a kick to the ribs. That is nasty. Nobody knows how to dissect a person like Arn Anderson. Here is Anderson with a whip to the ropes. And off the ropes comes Ricky Morton on a roll of 5. Anderson sets his head too soon, and Ricky catches him and drops him with a big pile driver. Anderson is down. Morton now in control. Morton will not let Anderson escape the ring. Morton instead goes for a fist drop, and he got all of that one. Anderson is down. Morton now follows that up. Again, Anderson tries to get out of the ring. Morton not going to let that happen. Morton this time with a leg drop, and Anderson is stunned. Into the ring now comes Robert Gibson. Gibson now coming in with a double team leg puller and punch, and that puts Anderson back down. And Morton now the double drop kick. Double drop kick by the Rock and Roll Express. They got all of that one on Anderson. The pin roll here 6 or lower. And it's going to be Dillon with the distractor rating of 7, unable to complete the distraction. And on a roll of 10, Anderson able to kick out. Anderson now at 2 points of fatigue. And the James J. Dillon Enterprises has used their first pin save attempt on that. Gibson now, actually Morton now the legal man in the ring after the double drop kick. And now it is a Hurricane Rana delivered by Ricky Morton. Anderson goes down. Morton stays on him. And now it is an add one double team move, that slingshot stomp. And Anderson is hurt. Robert Gibson now the legal man in the ring. Robert Gibson now coming in with a whip to the turnbuckle. Thought better of that. And instead is going to go for a double back body drop with the help of Ricky Morton. Anderson slow getting to his feet. Robert's on him with a big haymaker, and Anderson remains stunned. Here comes Ricky for a double team. And on a roll of 6, it is a awesome double neck breaker from the Rock and Roll Express. Anderson is down. And now the double drop kick again. That's a +3 finisher again. The pin roll now 8 or lower. Tully's going to have to come in and make the save. And on a roll of 8, he can't get there. And on a roll of 6, that is your pin. So the Rock and Roll Express get the victory, as Ricky Morton gets the pin on Arn Anderson after the double drop kick. So a big win for the Rock and Roll Express, as James J. Dillon goes 1-1 here on the night. The important match was the Valentine match, because Dillon now has the #1 contender for the Patriot Heavyweight Championship, depending on what happens next week at the Nowhere Fast Hype event. But for tonight in the tag team ranks, it is the Rock and Roll Express with the victory, moving one step closer to a title match in their quest to hold the gold. All right. So good match there. Pop's reviews in the chat room. So welcome. Good evening, Dave. Good evening to all the gents here. Hope everyone is enjoying their summer, and great gameplay, as always, by Dave. So thank you, Pops, Asim, for the kind words. As always, great to have you here on the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. And now our next match is for the North American Heavyweight Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with no time limit and no disqualification. This match is for the North American Heavyweight Championship. With the North American Championship, all matches are fought under no disqualification rules. Introducing first the challenger out of Glasgow, Scotland. I was just in Glasgow about 10 days ago, and now we are visiting with the Glasgow native, standing at 6'2", weighing 232 pounds. He is accompanied to the ring by Percy Pringle III. This is Rowdy Roddy Piper. And his opponent, your reigning and defending North American Heavyweight Champion from Louisville, Kentucky. Standing at 5'10", weighing 236 pounds, this is the Strangler, Ed Lewis. So Strangler Lewis and Rowdy Roddy Piper set to square off with the North American Heavyweight Championship on the line. Championship dice will be in effect for this match, as Lewis and Piper are set to square off. And the opening initiative roll is tied. So already Rowdy Roddy Piper is going to take us to the shenanigans book. And since this is a no disqualification match, this is the Face to the Mat Highlight Center booklet, which I use as a tribute to the one and only Keith Avalone, who put this together. And on a roll of 2-4 is the wrestler Strong. Piper is not the stronger of the two men, so that will be a no. Wrestler slung to the arena floor. Opponent scores 2 points. So Rowdy Roddy Piper attempted some shenanigans. Lewis, the stronger of the two men, wins that brawl and just pitches Rowdy Roddy Piper out of the ring and down to the arena floor. And Piper crawls back in where Lewis is ready and waiting to start the match on level 2 offense, and it's going to be a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle goes Rowdy Roddy Piper, and on a roll of 7, that is a big kick from Strangler Lewis that stuns Rowdy Roddy Piper. And now it is Lewis again with a whip to the turnbuckle. And this time on a roll of 5, it is Piper lifting a knee to the head of Lewis, and Piper now takes control. Piper comes back with thought about a whip to the turnbuckle, going to think better of that, and he's going to roll up and get an attempt at slamming the head to the mat. That's a power move, and that is unsuccessful. Lewis, again, the stronger man in the match, takes control, and now it is Lewis with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Piper, and on a roll of 8, it is a running back elbow by Ed Lewis that stuns Rowdy Roddy Piper. Lewis with another whip to the ropes, and this time Piper comes off the ropes, and Lewis drops down. Piper comes off the other way. Another drop down. Crisscrossing now, and finally a running shoulder tackle by Lewis takes Piper back down to the canvas. Lewis now goes with a neck yoke, starting to work on the neck of Roddy Piper, perhaps to set up that Strangler's headlock, a devastating submission move. Once he gets that bad boy in place, it is going to be hurting for certain for Roddy Piper. Now here is a whip to the turnbuckle by Lewis. And oh, this time it is Lewis whipping Piper into the turnbuckle. Piper bounces off the turnbuckle and nails Ed Lewis with a skull-splitting running lariat. Lewis goes down hard, and Piper now in control. Piper coming back with a gouge to the eyes. Lewis not liking that. Lewis tries to catch a front chancery, and Lewis now follows that up with a rabbit punch. Roddy Piper's not going to take that laying down, and it is Piper reversing that with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Ed Lewis, and oh, it is a big back suplex executed by Piper coming off the ropes. Lewis is down. Piper now with a chance to do some damage, and he's going to go right to the sleeper hold. Sleeper hold applied by Roddy Piper. The submission roll here 4 or lower, and on a roll of 6, Lewis able to power out. But Piper's got control. Let's see if he can leverage that to victory. Now Piper going up for a death jump. And on a roll of 6, that is a flying double axe handle off the top rope. Piper nails Lewis. Lewis is down again. And Piper is now going to pitch Lewis out of the ring and down to the arena floor. Here we go. Both these men with ratings of A on the ring floor. And on a roll of 8, it is Roddy Piper winning the brawl with a pile driver onto the ring steps. And that is nasty, but all is fair in love and the North American Heavyweight Championship. So Piper maintains control. Piper now going for a swinging neck breaker. Lewis going to head back out of the ring and down to the arena floor yet again. Will we see shenanigans here? We will not. It's going to be a straight-up brawl on the arena floor, and on a roll of 7. That's the best man wins roll, and that means Piper wins again as they're evenly rated, and it is Piper with a cannonball off the ring apron that takes down Lewis one more time. Piper now going up for another death jump. And oh, this time on a roll of 3. That's bad news for Roddy Piper, as he comes off the top rope, but Lewis instead rolls through, rolls him up. Going to attempt a pin here on Snake Eyes, and on a roll of 7, Piper gets free. But Lewis, with the alert roll through of the death jump, now has the opportunity to do some damage, and instead he's going to pitch Roddy Piper out of the ring. No shenanigans as of yet, and on a roll of 6, it is Piper who once again wins the brawl on the arena floor and slams the head of Strangler Lewis into the ring apron. Piper now back in control. Piper going to keep things out of the ring. Still no shenanigans roll as of yet. And on a roll of 7, Piper once again wins the brawl and drops Ed Lewis throat first onto the security railing. Lewis taking all kinds of damage here. Can Piper convert that? Here's a big back suplex, and again, Lewis rolls out of the ring. Still no shenanigans to be had as of yet. And on a roll of 7, Piper again wins the brawl, this time with a slam onto the announcer's table. Piper is just beating the stuffings out of Ed Lewis on the arena floor, but has not been able to convert that into any damage in the ring or any pinning opportunities. And here is Piper going up once again for a death jump. And on a roll of 10, that is the agility roll. Piper with the better agility rating. Strangler Lewis tried to take him off the top turnbuckle. Piper knocks Lewis down to the canvas. Piper back in control. And Piper now going to the figure 4 leg lock, trying to weaken the champion. Lewis staggers to the ropes, and Piper gouges him in the eyes. Piper still in control. Piper now with a big bulldog, taking Lewis down. Lewis getting back to his feet. Piper stays on him and just bites him in the forehead. A bite to the forehead by Lewis. Lewis is going to need shots after this match. Piper with a big knee lift. Piper staying on the offense. And Piper now with a big clothesline that stuns Ed Lewis. Piper follows that up. He's not going to do with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Lewis, and on a roll of 9, that is Piper with a, that's the power rating, and the power rating goes to Strangler Lewis. So Strangler Lewis knocks Piper to the canvas with a running shoulder tackle, and now it is Lewis coming back with a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Piper. He's going to grab Lewis and reverse that, and this time it is Lewis coming off the turnbuckle. And on a roll of 10, that is a big kick by Roddy Piper. Piper remains in control. And Piper with another bite to the forehead. Lewis is going to have to check in for a tetanus shot after this match, as Piper now puts on some punches and now is going to go for an atomic drop, which is a choice D maneuver. Choice D. And so he can go for a Cobra Clutch suplex on 7 or lower. And on a roll of 9, Lewis powers his way out of that attempt. And it is Lewis coming back with another whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Piper, and on a roll of 7, it is Lewis with a big kick that stuns Roddy Piper. Lewis, we got a leaner there, so Lewis will follow up with a double wrist lock. He's going to try for a submission here on 3 or lower. And on 9, Piper survives the double wrist lock. But Lewis with a chance to do some damage, and now he's got the Strangler's headlock in place. Headlock applied, submission roll is 4. And we may see a submission here. Percy Pringle with a chance to intervene. And on a roll of snake eyes, Percy shoves the timekeeper to the ground and grabs the ring bell, causing confusion in the ring. The ref tries to find out why the bell sounded. So Piper was trapped in the headlock. Percy Pringle rang the bell, but Piper did not submit. And now Piper attacks his opponent from behind with the sleeper hold. And he can put Strangler Lewis to sleep here on a roll of 5 or lower. And on a roll of 9, Lewis lucky to escape. So confusion there as Percy Pringle grabs the ring bell and rang the bell before the submission took place. Roddy Piper taking advantage of the confusion to catch Ed Lewis with the sleeper. Piper now in control, going up for another death jump, and he nailed him again with a flying clothesline off of the top turnbuckle. Piper follows that up with a swinging neckbreaker. Lewis is hurt. Piper follows that up with a bulldog. Lewis is still hurt. Piper follows that up with a running knee lift. He can't get Lewis to stay down. Piper now with another bulldog. Lewis again getting to his feet. Piper he just will not stay down. Another knee lift from Piper. Lewis keeps coming back for more. And now another bulldog from Piper. Lewis leaves the ring. Will we see shenanigans here? Yes, we will. As we are going out of the ring again. And we're going to the ringside mayhem chart. Ed Lewis is out of the ring and on the arena floor. Piper is on offense. And on a roll of 5, it is the foreign object roll. Into play is coming a steel chain. A steel chain has been introduced into the match. We go to the gut check roll. The gut check rolls are even. And so on a roll of 5, it is Lewis who wins the gut check roll, grabs the chain, and slugs Roddy Piper. Piper now with a point of fatigue taken. He is busted open by that roll. There will be no disqualification as Piper's been busted open with the steel chain. Lewis is on him now, goes back to the Strangler's headlock. Submission roll here, 6 or lower. Percy Pringle's going to try one last distraction. He can't get the distraction. Percy Pringle has used up all of his bullets in this match, and on a roll of 5, Piper is forced to submit. What an exciting win for Ed Strangler Lewis with the headlock. After Piper was busted open by a steel chain, Lewis nearly got the submission the first time around, but Percy Pringle rang the bell and interrupted the match. Piper was able to rally, but once Lewis busted Piper open with a steel chain, he got the headlock back in place, and that was all she wrote for Roddy Piper. Good match there for the North American Heavyweight Championship. Congratulations to Ed Strangler Lewis for the title defense in a very tough matchup. Lewis is your winner and retains the North American Heavyweight Championship. Pops Reviews giving us an update on Marvel United, Legends of Wrestling, and Go Fight Pal. And painting his minis a lot of the time. Good for you. Salvador America, Legends of Wrestling, both black and white and color. Go Fight Pal and Superstar Pro Wrestling. Both cards and the online version. Kathy Evans joins us here in the chat room. Hello to you, Kathy. So Go Fight Pal. There seems to be a lot of enthusiasm about that, but I have never tried that out myself. And I would be interested to learn more. I don't know if either Salvador or Pops, if anybody has done videos on the Go Fight Pal gaming system. Would love to learn more about that. If anybody could refer me to a place where I could see that game actually in action, I would appreciate that. I have been doing two things this summer, Legends of Wrestling, and been spending some time with the Play.com new release of History Maker Basketball Primetime Hoops. Got a little tournament going there, as well as my Legends of Wrestling activity. All right, so yeah, whatever direction y'all can give me towards learning more about Go Fight Pal, I am all ears. Kathy Evans taking advantage of her summertime to spend some time at the amusement park. So I hope that was an enjoyable Saturday for you, and welcome to the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. You are here just in time for tonight's main event of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is your main event of the evening. It is scheduled for one fall with no time limit. Disqualification rules will be in effect. This is a number one contenders match for the NWA World Tag Team Championship. Those belts, of course, held by the Midnight Express. And 1 week from tonight at our next Heartland YouTube production event, our hype show, Nowhere Fast, we will see the Midnight Express take on the winners of this match with the NWA World Tag Team Championship up for grabs. Introducing first, team number one. Standing at 6'1", weighing 245 pounds from Auckland, New Zealand, this is Tony GAREA. And his tag team partner comes from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He stands at 5'11", weighs 237 pounds. This is the living legend, Larry ZBYSZKO. So Larry ZBYSZKO and Tony GAREA, former World Tag Team Champions, attempting to regain those belts, but they have got to win tonight's number one contenders match to get a rematch, as their opponents coming to the ring at a total combined weight of 263 pounds from Sandy Fork, Delaware. These are your reigning Patriot Tag Team Champions, Jay and Mark the Briscoe brothers. So Granch is the man for Go Fight Pal. Pops did a few videos on that. He puts out videos for the Fight Pass every month. I will check those out. And see where we can go with that. But for tonight, we are here on the tabletop with the Legends of Wrestling, the Briscoe brothers, to take on Tony GAREA and Larry ZBYSZKO in a number one contenders match for the NWA World Heavyweight, or for the World Tag Team Championship. And we'll go ahead and use our championship dice for that. Even though there are no belts on the line, there is a shot at the World Championship on the line. It will be Jay Briscoe and Tony GAREA to start things off for their respective squads. The Briscoe brothers can get a little out of hand from time to time, so they will need to be wary of the disqualification rules. although they tend to be fan favorites and generally comport themselves pretty well in matches of this magnitude. ZBYSZKO and GAREA, of course, your white meat baby faces. This Legends of Wrestling ZBYSZKO card from early in his career before his infamous heel turn, when he was quite the established tag team partner in his own right. They come together in the center of the ring, and it is a jumping stomp to be attempted by Tony GAREA. This is a choice B maneuver. So he'll either need to hit a roll of 6 or lower or turnbuckle. So we'll go turnbuckle B on Jay Briscoe. And Briscoe comes off the turnbuckle and is crushed by a big kick from Tony GAREA. GAREA in control. And GAREA with a double body slam. GAREA and ZBYSZKO executing that move. And Jay Briscoe is hurt. That makes ZBYSZKO the legal man in the ring. And ZBYSZKO now coming with a low back suplex and a bridge. Jay Briscoe going to try and make the tag. And on a roll of 6, he is able to tag out to Brother Mark. So we've seen effective tag team work on both sides already in just the opening sequence. As Mark Briscoe now takes ZBYSZKO over, attempts a vertical suplex. ZBYSZKO with the power advantage is able to block that, and it is ZBYSZKO coming back with a body slam, taking Mark Briscoe down to the canvas. Mark unable to make the tag. ZBYSZKO in control. Comes back with that low back suplex with a bridge. Briscoe rolls out of that. Larry in control with another big body slam. Mark going to try for a tag and successfully tags out to Brother Jay. As Brother Jay comes into the ring against Larry ZBYSZKO, and it is Jay with a release spine buster that puts ZBYSZKO down and puts him down hard. ZBYSZKO getting to his feet. Jay's on him with a high elevation hip toss. That is a level 3 tag team move, and that brings Mark back into the ring as the legal man. Mark now with the redneck kung fu puts ZBYSZKO down. ZBYSZKO going to attempt a tag, and he is able to tag into Tony GAREA. So once again, effective tag team maneuvering by both these squads, which is why both these squads are at the top of the tag team championship ratings. And everybody talking about ZBYSZKO and the term spudhead. Love that word, spudhead. Here comes GAREA into the ring against Mark Briscoe with a headlock takeover. Briscoe able to reverse that. And it is ZBYSZKO, with a killer enziguri, taking down Tony GAREA. Can GAREA make the tag? Yes, he can. We may be here all night. The way that these two tag teams have their chemistry in order. As ZBYSZKO comes in with an arm drag, Briscoe blocks the arm drag, and Mark comes back with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Larry ZBYSZKO, and on a roll of 5, that is ZBYSZKO with a running shoulder tackle that knocks Mark down to the canvas. ZBYSZKO stays on him with the abdominal stretch. Mark trying to fight his way out of that, and it is ZBYSZKO again with another whip to the ropes. And this time again, it is ZBYSZKO with a running back elbow. Here comes Tony GAREA, an attempt at a double team, but on a roll of 10, that's a botch. Your partner holds the opponent, and you propel yourself off the ropes for a running shoulder tackle, but the opponent ducks, and you collide with your partner. So ZBYSZKO and Briscoe collide. Mark now is able to take control against Larry ZBYSZKO with a flying leg lariat. Both men now getting to their feet. They come together in the center of the ring, and it is ZBYSZKO with a high hip toss that takes Mark down to the ring, down to the canvas. ZBYSZKO follows that up with an attempted leg dive takedown. Mark is able to block that and come back with an attempted vertical suplex. ZBYSZKO blocks the attempt at a vertical suplex, and it is ZBYSZKO now with a whip to the ropes. Lots of back and forth maneuvering there. Coming off the ropes is Mark Briscoe, and on a roll of 4, it is ZBYSZKO setting his head too soon. Mark Briscoe coming off and catching ZBYSZKO with that brutal redneck kung fu that puts ZBYSZKO down to the canvas. Mark now with a chance to do some damage here, and he is going to pitch Larry out of the ring and down to the arena floor. ZBYSZKO on the arena floor on a roll of 8. It is Mark who wins the brawl with a body slam onto the arena floor. Larry coming back into the ring, And it is Jay coming in for a double team. And on a roll of 7, it is a bone-crunching double clothesline delivered by Mark and Jay. Jay now the legal man in the ring. Larry is down, and Jay is going to go for the Jay Driller. That's a 0 finisher. The pin roll here is 3. And on a roll of 5, Larry is able to kick out. And the match will continue with ZBYSZKO down. And here is another Jay Driller. The pin roll now is 4. And on a roll of 8, ZBYSZKO kicks out again. Mark comes into the ring. Another double team effort by Mark and Jay. And another bone-crunching double clothesline. It is Mark now in control. ZBYSZKO in some trouble here, as Mark again pitches ZBYSZKO out of the ring and down to the arena floor. On a roll of 6, that is a clean win for Mark Briscoe, the better ring rating, and a diving clothesline off the ring apron. I can hear Mark squealing at the top of his crazy lungs as he comes off the ring apron with a diving clothesline onto ZBYSZKO. ZBYSZKO in trouble here, and Mark now is going to go up for the death jump. Mark coming off with the death jump, and on a roll of 12, that is a perfect cross body block off the top rope. ZBYSZKO is down. The pin roll here is 5. And on a roll of 9, ZBYSZKO able to kick out. That is 3 fatigue tokens on Larry ZBYSZKO, and that means that we are going to go to the tag team interference roll, as once you hit 3, your partner comes in and attempts to turn the momentum. And on the roll of 11, as GAREA comes into the ring, Mark grabs him and slams ZBYSZKO and GAREA into a double noggin knocker, and that is going to cost both men another point of fatigue. So GAREA takes a point. ZBYSZKO takes a point. They lose a pin save. Disaster for the former world champions, as Mark now is back in the ring and back in control with a brutal suplex on ZBYSZKO. ZBYSZKO is hurt. Mark is back in control. Mark going with a flying leg lariat that stuns Larry ZBYSZKO. Mark stays on him with more of that redneck kung fu. Here comes Jay into the ring for a double team. And on a roll of 7, it is a running forearm smash delivered by Jay Briscoe, as Larry was held at bay by brother Mark. Jay now in control. Jay with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Larry ZBYSZKO, and on a roll of 10, that is the running double clothesline. The man with the better ropes rating recovers first. They are even, so that gives Jay the advantage. Jay back on level 3 offense. Can he finish off ZBYSZKO here? He is going to go for a somersault plancha. He goes for the cover. The pin roll here is 7. GAREA will attempt to make the save, and on a roll of 4, GAREA able to make the save. So ZBYSZKO now at 5 points of fatigue. The former champions out of pin save attempts. Jay Briscoe can go for the finish here, and he goes for the Death Valley driver. ZBYSZKO slow to get to his feet, desperate to make a tag. Jay stays on him with another whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes ZBYSZKO on a roll of 9. That's the power roll. The power is even. So again, Jay Briscoe gets the advantage, or maintains the advantage. Jay comes at him now with a Yakuza kick. This is a choice E maneuver. He will need 9 or lower to hit the Yakuza kick, and on a roll of 8, he nails ZBYSZKO with that Yakuza kick. He's going to go for the cover. The pin roll now is 7, and on a roll of 7, he got him. So a flawless victory for the Briscoe brothers, suffering 0 points of fatigue. ZBYSZKO took all the damage on that match, and Jay wins it with the Yakuza kick. So it will be Jay and Mark, the Briscoe brothers, moving to the hype event next week, Nowhere Fast, to take on the Midnight Express for the NWA World Tag Team Championship. So congratulations to the Briscoe brothers. Dem boys are now the #1 contenders to the NWA World Tag Team Championship. Salvador America says, congratulations, good win by the Briscoe brothers. Joseph Hinkle here. Hello, Dave. I thought you would be in Canton. Yeah, I thought about going, as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast. I used to live in Ohio, and I could get to Canton with a couple hours away. I am now in Madison, Wisconsin, and it would have been a full day's drive to get over to Canton. And after my recent overseas vacation, I just couldn't pull it off. I'm disappointed by that, but my biggest disappointment was not getting to meet Dave Gardner, but Dave will be in Denver for Play.con next year, so I will look forward to meeting Dave on that occasion. We're here today in the Dave Cave with action from Legends of Wrestling. So thank you, Joseph, for stopping by. As Dem Boys win the main event and become your number one contenders. Next week, they will move on to the pay-per-view to meet the Midnight Express. Also next week, here live on YouTube, it will be the NWA World Heavyweight Champion with Barry Windham defending against Dusty Rhodes. That should be another barn burner. Also, the Heartland Ladies Championship will be on the line at the pay-per-view next week as Kelly Klein defends against Ms. Frankie J. Heartland Ladies Tag Team Championship will be on the line with the champions Debbie and Cora Combs taking on the team of Tasha Steeles and Big Swole. So be sure to tune in next week for the pay-per-view event Nowhere Fast. And until then, we will say so long. Thank you to everybody who turned out tonight. Pops Reviews, Mark Ferguson, Salvador America, Joseph Hinkle, Kathy Evans, Jay Randis, Neil Lau. Who else am I missing along the way? Bear 805. Thank you for stopping by. And I believe we got everybody. So thank you all. Thank you one and all. Please leave a like on your at the turnstile on your way out. And thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week for more great action from the Heartland. That's our stream, and I am out of here.